102 on Tuesday night. Curry scored 20 in the second half. Butler had 13. Now, Steph and LeBron's teams have been some of the best in the NBA since the trade deadline. The Warriors 9-3 since that deadline, while the Lakers are 10-2. Windy, what do you make of the state of the NBA right now?
We are in for potentially an incredibly amazing spring, because I can't predict what's going to happen. Would never try. I was at the Lakers. I was at LA last week with Stephen A.
Yep.
And I was at the Lakers games. I talked to their personnel, and I listened to JJ Redick, and I listened to LeBron's teammates. They believe. LeBron believes. You can see it in his actions. You can see it in his demeanor. Last night, I'm at the Garden, talking to the Warriors people. I'm listening to Steph Curry. I'm listening to Jimmy Butler. I'm listening to Steve Kerr. They believe. They believe, and you can tell that Steph is energized. Steph walked in that building last night with a sore ankle. There was no way he wasn't playing. No way. 9-1 with Jimmy Butler was in the lineup. When Steve Kerr is even saying this. Jimmy is changing how we play. Jimmy takes care of the ball, so all of a sudden Steph and Draymond are starting to take care of the ball. Jimmy plays defense, all of a sudden those guys are starting to play better defense. So now, I'm looking at a bracket right now where I see potentially Steph and LeBron on the same side of the bracket. Same side of the bracket, okay? That's number one. Number two, I'm looking at the Lakers. They're that offensive display they put on last night. I just want to say something. Zion Williamson played in this game against the Lakers last night. He had 17 baskets in the paint, okay? And the Lakers couldn't be bothered by it because Luka has awoken.
Yeah.
He's got 11 threes the last two games. They play without two starters. I'm telling you, Saturday night, appointment television.
Oh, I can't wait.
Appointment television.
Yeah. Right.
Lakers at Celtics, ABC.
Yeah.
Got to be there.
Well, first things first, Wendy, welcome to the party. We've been talking about the Lakers the last 2 weeks. We know what we've been seeing. You were the one that was a bit reluctant. We all were a bit reluctant to start off, but over the last 2 weeks, you were the one that decided to come to the party last.
I'm there.
You
I'm
wanted
at
to
the
make a
party.
grand entrance, so here you
I'm
are.
at the party.
Okay? You wanted to make a grand entrance, so here you are, all right? The Los Angeles Lakers, you know, if you remember, Molly, when I did my A-list, I had them as a top 3 team in the league.
Yeah.
Okay, this is over a week ago. We know what we're seeing. And to me, as much as we want to marvel at LeBron, as much as we want to praise Luke over the last 2 games, I'm sorry, I'm doing the cold open. I forgot.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I forgot. My bad. My point is that when we're doing that, what did he say about J.J. Redick? Good Lord have mercy. You got to give our former colleague some love. He's a Coach of the Year candidate. I don't think he's ahead of Bernie Bickerstaff, but I think he's right there with Atkinson for the job that he's doing in L.A. right now. They are the #1 defense over the last 7 weeks.
Should LeBron get some credit for that?
Defense?
No.
They all do.
Should LeBron get some credit for JJ Redick? Because he got killed for, hey, we have a podcast together and he just got the job and it's essentially nepotism and this and that. And he has no coaching experience except his son.
Appreciate that.
Wait, I didn't finish my thought.
Oh, go ahead.
And I'm saying, and now we're praising him as potentially he's the coach of the year. And we were like raking LeBron through the coals for that.
Are you ready for this? I'd still rake him because nobody complained about J.J. Redick being the coach. It was how it happened. You don't have a podcast with an aspiring head coach while your head coach is coaching you and rumors are swirling that his job is in jeopardy. That's low class. It doesn't change what I said about LeBron. It doesn't change what anybody said about LeBron as it pertains to how everything happened with J.J. Redick becoming the head coach.
He wasn't maybe right about
it has nothing
scouting J.J. Redick as head coach.
I could be right, you could be right, somebody could be right, but how you do something matters. And how that happened was still wrong. I don't give a damn they win a championship. I'd still sit there if you asked me the same question and say, that was jacked up. You know what I said? Darvin Ham took them to the Western Conference Finals. And then the next year they lost in the first round. Both times was to Denver. We had speculated at that time that nobody but Denver could beat the Los Angeles Lakers. But yet this dude is an assistant coach. And he's out of a job as a head coach. And your star player, all right, was having a podcast about basketball with the guy that succeeded him. Come on now, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. And I'm not blaming J.J. Redick one bit for that. I'm just saying it could have been handled better. Having said all of that, there is no doubt that J.J. Redick is a candidate for Coach of the Year. He is sublime offensively. He knows what the hell he's doing. Nobody expected them to be this elite defensively. We didn't expect that at all. And that's why we're talking about them as title contenders. It's not because of what we saw on offense. Even when Luka just arrived, we still speculated as to, all right, yeah, they'll score in bunches, but what will they do defensively? They're too small.
I totally agree.
All of that went out the window. That's J.J. Redick, that's Nate McMillan, that's Scott Brooks, and the rest of that staff. That is what's going on with the Los Angeles. Anything we're seeing offensively doesn't surprise us. What we're seeing defensively is why the Los Angeles Lakers could very well end up playing in June. That's the reality. J.J. Redick.
Mic drop? I mean, yeah. I think I was in LA for Lakers Celtics earlier this year. Obviously, the rematch is going to be very different. Celtics didn't really show up. Lakers rolled in that ball game. But I think the way that JJ is engaging the media, energizing his team, encouraging his players, even whether it's JJ, whether it's LeBron, the two working in tandem, the experience that they have and the way that they are empowering the rest of that roster, I think is probably what is maybe the secret sauce if you had to pull something that wasn't about basketball. Because all of us are looking at Jackson Hayes like, okay. Meanwhile, LeBron's like, go do you. And I think that is really meaningful when again, you look at the breadth of his career, he's won with all types of iterations. He understands, obviously, the basketball of it all, but the leadership of different groups, different stages, different ages, see all the above, and a first-time head coach, it's really special what's happening in LA.
I would just say, so you got LeBron and Steph starting to believe.
Yeah.
Maybe not even starting, believing.
Yeah.
Believe it.
The Cavs are 51-10. Okay? I watched them last night play for about 4 minutes in the second half. And it was as beautiful a basketball as you'll ever see. They've won 11 in a row. They haven't lost in a month. They've got 3 winning streaks of 11 games or long. You got the Thunder, who are 50-11. These are 2 of the best teams within seasons. The last time we saw 2 teams dominate like this was when we had that Spurs and those Warriors teams, then Kawhi sprained his ankle, and we never would have known what happened in that series. And I haven't even mentioned the defending champs, who I still favor to win the whole thing when they're at their best. And I haven't mentioned Jokic, who I think if they hadn't screwed up last year in that second half of that Game 7, might have been back in the finals. So I think we're headed for an amazing spring. And anybody who wants to mock the NBA hasn't been watching.
Let me say, can I say something? Last night was a fantastic night of basketball. But basketball has really been great, especially since All-Star break. And NBA right now, when they talk about NBA, is fantastic. Oh, yes, it is. We got some scenarios that we got to take into consideration. Who do y'all want to make a deep run more, LeBron or Steph Curry? Because it can't be both. Oh, by the way, who do you want in the finals? The world. I know the league and everybody. Boston, LA, Boston. No doubt. But what was the best game of the year that you saw? That I saw? OKC at Cleveland as the best game of the year. Phenomenal. I mean, to imagine them going up in the finals against one another would be phenomenal. Now, everybody would say, oh, is that going to show up in the ratings and all of that? From a basketball standpoint, you want to see an OKC versus Cleveland for a championship.
I'm with you.
You want to see a LeBron returning to Cleveland.
My God.
With a championship. Could you imagine LeBron against Cleveland? The LA against Cleveland?
Come on.
And the Cavs like their chances.
That's right.
They sure would.
Boston versus OKC would be a phenomenal final, but less attractive than LA Cleveland. Less attractive than LA Boston. And I'm telling you right now, the least attractive of.
Tiếp theo là mình cấp lên tiếp nha.